You ever get that one message that changes everything? Yeah, that's how this started. I'm Maya Harlow, 31, a paramedic in Austin, Texas, and last night, I opened a letter that wasn't meant for me. Or maybe it was. It's wild how one small thing can flip your whole world upside down, right? One minute, you're saving strangers on a highway. The next, you're standing in the back of a country club ballroom while your family pretends you don't exist. Ha! Yeah, it's that kind of story. Anyway, it was my brother's big night, his promotion party at the Barton Creek Country Club. He's 28, the golden boy investment banker everyone calls the next big thing. My parents rented out the whole ballroom, decked with champagne fountains and white roses. The kind of event where the napkins probably cost more than my week's groceries. And right when he took the mic, with a spotlight dead center on his slick suit and fake smile, he said it. Some people just aren't built for success. Some are better at picking up the pieces. Everyone laughed. Even my mom. I just stood there, clutching a paper cup of punch, trying not to make eye contact. That's when this old guy in a gray suit, someone I'd never seen before, slipped into the seat next to me. He smelled like cigar smoke and cedarwood. He handed me a thick white envelope, leaned close, and whispered, "Time to remind them who you are." I froze. Before I could even ask who he was gone. Just disappeared into the crowd. Weird, right? Like something straight out of a movie. But that envelope, it was heavy. Real heavy. I didn't open it. Not yet. Because, let's be honest, my family already thinks I'm the screw-up. The too emotional sister who still drives a beat-up Jeep and works 12-hour shifts saving overdose victims on the east side. They don't see the lives I save. They see the scrubs, the scuffed boots, and the tired eyes. Every morning, I'm up at 5:15. Coffee, cold shower. Then it's lights, sirens, chaos. Some days it's car wrecks. Some days it's heart attacks. And some days it's kids I wish I could unsee. $52,000 a year and a badge that smells like antiseptic and burnt rubber. But I love it. Because when someone looks you dead in the eyes and whispers, "Thank you," right before you restart their heart, that's something money can't buy. Meanwhile, my brother, Noah, wakes up in his downtown condo with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lady Bird Lake. He rolls into his Tesla, orders a $9 latte, and spends his day closing deals for clients he'll never meet in person. $400,000 a year. Bonus season, private gym, daddy's approval. And me? I get a pat on the back when a patient doesn't die in my ambulance. Ha! Guess that's my version of stock options. A few months ago, I pulled a kid out of a burning car on I-35 smoke. Everywhere, glass flying. It was chaos. The story hit the local news. They called me the mystery paramedic because I refused interviews. Didn't need attention, just did my job. But that kid's mom sent me a letter a week later, said, "You gave me back my only son." It's framed on my nightstand. My parents? Never mentioned it, not once. So yeah, when I got that other letter, the one from the man in the gray suit, I didn't know what to think. It was addressed to me, sealed with wax. No return address. And even though every instinct told me not to, that night, sitting in my car after the party with mascara running and my heart pounding, I ripped it open. Inside was a single photograph, and on the back, in shaky handwriting, it said, "You were never supposed to find out." I swear, I felt my stomach drop. Because the face in that photo wasn't a stranger. It was my brother. And next to him was a woman I hadn't seen in 15 years. Our mother's sister, who supposedly died when I was 16. Something was very wrong. I sat in my car that night, the letter shaking in my hands, my mind spinning like a busted siren. You ever get that gut feeling? The kind that crawls up your spine and whispers something's off? Yeah, that's what this was. The photo was grainy, but clear enough. My brother, Noah, standing next to my Aunt Claire. Only, Aunt Claire was dead. Or that's what Mom and Dad said when I was 16. A tragic house fire. Closed casket funeral. Except, and here's the part that still makes my stomach twist. I remembered the night she died. There was no fire, just a long phone call between Mom and some lawyer. Then tears. Then silence. Then, boom! Claire's gone. Just like that. So why the hell was she smiling next to Noah in a photo that looked recent? I tossed the letter on the passenger seat and just sat there for, I don't know, maybe an hour. Rain started tapping the windshield, soft at first, then harder. I wanted to go home, crawl into bed, pretend this never happened. But curiosity's a mean little thing. Once it gets in your head, it eats at you. So, yeah. I drove. It was just past midnight when I pulled up to my apartment, this tiny second-floor unit that smells like bleach and burnt popcorn from the neighbors. I spread the letter, the photo, and the wax seal on my kitchen table. That seal had a small R carved into it. Not our family initial, not anything I recognized. Weird, right? I grabbed my laptop, typed Claire Harlow into Google. Nothing. Like nothing, not even an obituary. Every trace of her was gone, like someone scrubbed her off the internet. Who even has that kind of pull? I barely slept. My head was full of what-ifs and why-nows. By sunrise, I was at the station, uniform on, caffeine barely keeping me upright. My partner, Lena, noticed right away. "Yo, you look like you wrestled a tornado and lost," she said, handing me a donut. "Ha ha, yeah, something like that," I mumbled, trying to smile. We rolled out to calls all morning. A fender bender on 6th Street, a diabetic crash in a diner, one overdose behind a gas station. But no matter what I did, that photo kept flashing in my head. Around 2 p.m., between runs, I caved and called my dad. He didn't pick up, so I texted, "Hey, random question. What year did Aunt Claire pass again?" 3 dots. Then nothing. 2 hours later, he replied, "Why are you asking?" That was it. No, she's been gone so long. No, are you okay? Just that. When I got off shift, I drove to their place. They live out in Westlake Hills, one of those fancy neighborhoods with perfect lawns and gates that cost more than my car. I parked down the street, stared at their house glowing under the porch light. Everything looked so normal it made me sick. Mom opened the door before I could even knock twice. "Maya, what are you doing here? It's late." Her hair was perfect, like always. Her smile? Fake, like always. "I need to talk," I said, stepping past her before she could stop me. Dad was in the living room, glass of whiskey in hand, golf on mute. He didn't even look surprised to see me. I pulled out the photo and set it on the coffee table. "Explain this." The room went dead quiet. Mom's face drained of color. Dad didn't blink, just stared at it, then at me. Finally, he sighed. "Where did you get that?" "Doesn't matter," I snapped. "Is Aunt Claire alive?" He didn't answer. Mom tried to grab the photo, but I snatched it back. Her hand trembled. "Maya, please, let this go." That's when I lost it. "Let what go? You told me she burned to death. You let me cry over a lie." Dad stood up, calm as a preacher, and said, "It's complicated." That word again, complicated. The same word he used when they sold Grandma's house without telling me, or when Noah got out of that DUI last year. I grabbed my jacket, heart pounding so hard it hurt. "Fine," I said. "If you won't tell me, I'll find her myself." And right as I turned to leave, Mom whispered something that froze me mid-step. Something that made the hairs on my arms stand straight up. She said, "Maya, if you keep digging, you're gonna end up just like her." "Like her? You mean dead?" "Ha! Yeah." I didn't sleep that night either, because now I knew one thing for sure. Aunt Claire wasn't the only one hiding something, and whatever my family buried 15 years ago, it's about to claw its way back up. You ever stare at something so long your brain starts making patterns that aren't there? That's how it felt the next morning. Me sitting at my kitchen table, eyes glued to that damn photo of my brother and Aunt Claire. Same nose, same smile, Same birthmark under her left eye. And yeah, same one I have. It's wild, right? You grow up thinking you know who your family is. The bedtime stories, the backyard birthdays, the fake Christmas smiles. And then one photo makes you realize maybe you don't know anything. By 9 a.m., I was running on 3 hours of sleep and half a cup of gas station coffee. Lena called to check in. You alive, girl? You sounded off last night. Yeah, just tired, I lied. Because how do you tell your partner you think your dead aunt might actually be alive and hanging with your brother? Yeah. Not exactly casual small talk between ambulance runs. After we cleared our first call, a slip and fall at a nail salon, I ducked into the rig and Googled Claire Harlow Austin archives. Still nothing. No death record. No obituary. But then, one random link popped up on page 6 of the search. A scanned charity gala flyer from 6 months ago. And there she was. Front row, center stage, in a red dress. Caption read, Dr. C. Rowan, CEO, Horizon Biotech. Horizon Biotech. I'd seen that name before, plastered all over my brother's LinkedIn profile. He'd bragged about mergers and clinical partnerships. So yeah, I wasn't losing my mind. My dead aunt had just rebranded. My stomach dropped. I felt this hot rush in my chest. Anger, confusion, a little bit of that what the hell is happening to my life flavor. I texted Noah. Me. You ever heard of a Dr. C. Rowan? Noah. Why? Me. Looks a lot like Aunt Claire. No response. Typical. By noon, I was parked outside Horizon Biotech's glass building downtown, the kind of place with mirrored windows and guards who look like they bench press SUVs. I watched for an hour, employees flashing badges, delivery trucks coming and going. No Claire, no Noah. But as I was about to drive off, someone knocked on my window. Scared the hell out of me. It was a guy, late 40s, baseball cap, worn jacket. He leaned down and said, You shouldn't be here. I blinked. Sorry, do I know you? He shook his head. Not yet, but I knew your aunt. Before I could ask anything, he slipped an old business card through the crack in my window. On it, Monsieur Reeves, investigative journalist. And scribbled under that, Meet me at the diner on 12th, 6 p.m. Don't bring your phone. Dude just walked off like he dropped off a pizza. So of course I showed up. The diner smelled like burnt coffee and hash browns, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, except me. Reeves was in a booth near the back, laptop open, eyes flicking between the door and the window. He looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. Thanks for coming, he said when I slid in across from him. You look just like her, you know. Like who? I asked, even though I already knew. Claire, or Rowan, whatever name she's using now. He turned his laptop around, and my breath caught. There were photos, dozens, of Claire at board meetings, ribbon cuttings, even a charity gala with Noah standing beside her. They built Horizon together, Reeves said. But she disappeared last month. Company said she retired. I think she's dead, for real this time. I stared at the screen, my throat dry. So what does my brother have to do with it? Reeves hesitated. Then he pulled out another photo, grainy security footage, Claire stepping into a parking garage, and behind her, walking close, was Noah. The timestamp? The night before she vanished. Tell me that's not him, Reeves said quietly. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Why are you showing me this? I finally whispered. Because, he said, leaning in, voice low, your brother's not who you think he is. And if you really want the truth, he tapped the photo, you're gonna have to go back to where it all started. I frowned. Where's that? Reeves smiled, this sad, knowing kind of smile, and slid a crumpled old map across the table. At the top, written in fading blue ink, Harlow Ranch, restricted. My family's old ranch. The one Dad sold right after Claire's death. The one I haven't set foot on in 15 years. As I sat there staring at that map, I swear I felt every memory rush back. The summer nights, the bonfires, the smell of pine and smoke, but something else too, something darker. Reeves stood, threw a few dollars on the table, and said, "Careful, Maya. The truth's a fire that never really goes out." He walked out, leaving me alone with my thoughts, and that map. I stared at it for a long time, tracing the road to the ranch with my finger. And deep down, I already knew, whatever I'd find there wouldn't just change how I saw my family. It'd change everything. Ever driven somewhere you swore you'd never go back to? Yeah. That was me, gripping the steering wheel, knuckles white, headlights slicing through the Texas dark, while an old country station buzzed low on the radio. I hadn't been to the Harlow Ranch since I was 16, and back then, it smelled like fresh-cut hay, barbecue smoke, and a kind of peace I thought lasted forever. Now? It smelled like rust and ghosts. The gate was still there, half fallen, the private property sign hanging by one nail. I pulled up, engine idling, heart hammering. Grass had swallowed the dirt road. The wind made the trees whisper like they were gossiping. For a second, I almost turned back. Almost. But then I remembered what Mom said. If you keep digging, you'll end up just like her. And that was the thing. If her meant Aunt Claire, maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. I pushed the gate open, metal screeching loud enough to wake the dead. My Jeep crawled up the old drive until the house came into view. The porch was caved in, the windows dark. But the main door, still standing, still painted that same faded turquoise Claire loved. I killed the engine, grabbed my flashlight, and stepped out. Gravel crunched under my boots. The air felt heavy, like the kind that sticks to your skin before a storm. Inside, the place was a time capsule. Furniture covered in sheets, family photos still on the walls, dust thick enough to write in. I ran my hand over the old piano near the window, the one Claire taught me to play on. There was a crack down the middle now. Figures. Every step I took made the floorboards groan, like they were warning me off. But the deeper I went, the more off it felt, like someone had been here recently. The kitchen table had 2 coffee mugs, fresh. And one of them, no joke, had lipstick on the rim. I swear my stomach did a full Olympic flip. Then I heard it. A low creak from upstairs. I froze, shined my flashlight up the staircase. "Hello?" I called out. Yeah, like the idiot in every horror movie. No answer, just silence. So of course I went up. The hallway was long and narrow, the wallpaper peeling in strips. Claire's old room was the last one on the right. The door was cracked open, and a faint glow leaked out, a soft blue light. When I pushed it open, my breath caught. There was a laptop on the desk, new, sleek, dust-free. And it was on. The screen showed a single folder titled Harlow Project. I touched the trackpad. The folder opened. Dozens of files. Photos. Research documents. Video clips. My hands were shaking as I clicked the first video. Static. Then a woman's voice. Tired, but familiar. "My name is Dr. Claire Rowan. If you're watching this, they found me." I swear I almost dropped the laptop. It was her. Older, thinner, but definitely Aunt Claire. She was sitting in that same room, same turquoise door in the background. "I tried to expose them," she said, "but I didn't know how deep it went. The experiments, they weren't just corporate, they were personal." She leaned closer to the camera. "If my family sees this, don't trust Noah." I felt my pulse in my ears. She knew. She knew. Then the video cut off. Just black screen. File corrupted. I backed away, breath coming in sharp little gasps. Okay, so Aunt Claire was alive, at least when that video was made. And whatever she'd found, Noah was right in the middle of it. I yanked the flash drive from the laptop and stuffed it in my pocket. That's when headlights swept across the front window. I froze. Someone had just pulled up outside. The sound of tires crunching gravel, doors slamming. 2 of them, maybe 3. "Crap," I whispered. I killed the light on my phone and ducked, behind the bed. Bootsteps hit the porch. Then a man's voice, low and angry. "Search everything! She's here!" My heart just about exploded. Through the crack in the doorway, I saw shadows moving, flashlights sweeping across the hall. One beam landed right on Claire's desk, the open laptop still glowing faintly. "Got it," another voice said. And then, a hand reached for the flash drive slot, but the drive was gone, with me. I waited until the steps moved downstairs before I bolted for the back window, slipped out, hit the dirt, and sprinted toward the trees like my life depended on it, which honestly, it probably did. Branches slapped my face, gravel tore my palms, but I didn't stop running until the glow of the ranch disappeared behind me. When I finally made it back to the Jeep, I jumped in, locked the doors, and sat there shaking. I looked at that little flash drive in my hand, the one thing Claire left behind. And all I could think was, who the hell was they? And how long have they known I was coming? You ever hold something that feels way too small to ruin your whole life? That's what that flash drive felt like. Just this tiny black stick sitting in my palm, but somehow heavier than a gun. By the time I got back to my apartment, it was almost 3 a.m. My hands were still shaking, my brain spinning like a washing machine set to panic mode. I double-checked the locks, pulled the blinds, and killed every light except the one over my desk. Yeah, total spy movie vibes. I plugged the drive into my laptop. Nothing happened. Black screen. Then, a flicker, and a password prompt popped up. Of course. I tried the obvious. Harlow, Rowan, Claire 123. Even Noah sucks. Ha, worth a shot. Nothing. That's when I remembered something. Claire used to keep a silver locket. Inside it was a photo of her, Mom, and me. And on the back, one word engraved. Haven. I typed, Haven. The screen blinked, and just like that, files started opening, hundreds of them. PDFs, audio recordings, folders labeled Subjects, Trial 14, DNA integration logs. My blood ran cold. I clicked one at random. A spreadsheet filled the screen, columns of dates, ID numbers, and names. At the top, Project Haven, Gene Reconstruction Initiative. Halfway down the list, I saw it. Row 118, name, Maya Harlow, status, active. My heart stopped. I scrolled back, reread it like 3 times, hoping I was hallucinating. Nope, still there. My name, my birthday, even my blood type. What the actual hell? I whispered. Then I clicked the next folder. Audio logs. A woman's voice came through the speakers, shaky, scared. Trial 14. Subject 118 shows unusual resilience. Compatible markers match donor profile. Proceeding with integration at 0800 hours. Claire's voice cut in next. Noah, this isn't right. We agreed to stop human trials. And then his voice. Calm, cold, the same one that used to read me bedtime stories when I was a kid. It's too late, Claire. She's already in. I swear my stomach twisted so hard I thought I'd puke. She's already in. Who? Me? It made no sense. I was a paramedic, not a lab rat. But the more I scrolled, the worse it got. Notes about memory suppression, neural editing, post-trauma reconditioning. Holy crap! Were they saying I'd been experimented on? Then I found a video file labeled Final Log. I hesitated, then hit play. Claire appeared again. Same room, same blue light. Her voice was softer this time. If Maya's watching this, it means I failed. You need to understand. What they did to you wasn't your fault. Your memories, your gaps, the things you can't explain. They were designed that way. They needed a subject they could control. She looked straight into the camera, eyes wet. I tried to protect you. I faked my death to stop them, but Noah, he took it further than I ever imagined. Don't trust anyone, especially not the company, especially not him. The video glitched and cut to black. I sat there, frozen. Every weird thing from my life, the constant nightmares, the faint scars on my ribs I could never explain, the anxiety attacks out of nowhere, suddenly didn't feel so random anymore. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Hello? A man's voice came through, low, rushed. Maya, listen carefully. They're coming for the drive. Leave your apartment. Now. What? Who is this? Click. Call ended. The sound of tires screeching outside made my heart stop. I peeked through the blinds. Black SUVs. 3 of them, headlights off. Okay. Think, Maya, I muttered, stuffing the flash drive in my boot, grabbed my keys, my jacket, and slipped out the back stairwell just as the front door lock clicked open. Voices echoed down the hall. Male, tactical, professional. They weren't cops. They were suits. The kind that don't ask questions. They erase witnesses. I sprinted through the alley, lungs burning, adrenaline crashing through my veins. One of them shouted behind me, "She's heading east!" I ducked behind a dumpster, heart slamming against my ribs. Footsteps passed. Then silence. When it was clear, I pulled out my phone again. New message notification from that same unknown number. It said, "If you want to live, go to the place she called Haven." And attached was a single GPS coordinate, middle of nowhere, near the old oil fields west of Austin. I stared at it, shaking. Haven. The password. The project name. And maybe the only place with answers. I looked up at the dark sky, headlights fading in the distance, and whispered, "All right, Aunt Claire, guess I'm coming to find you." The drive out to Haven felt like crawling into a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. 2 hours west of Austin, just me, my beat-up Jeep, and a map that felt cursed. The road turned from asphalt to gravel, then to straight-up dirt, my headlights slicing through fog thick enough to chew. No music, no talking. Just that low hum of the engine and the voice in my head saying, "You sure you want to know?" Yeah, I was sure. Too far in to quit now. The GPS blinked red as I turned down a narrow trail lined with barbed wire fences. Finally, I hit a massive gate, steel, rusted, chained shut, with a sign that said, "Property of Horizon Biotech, Restricted Area." Of course, the same damn company Noah worked for. I killed the engine, grabbed my flashlight, and slipped through a gap in the fence someone had cut long ago. Wind whipped through the mesquite trees, carrying that dry, dusty smell of abandoned places. Ahead, a building rose out of the dark. Big, gray, windowless, the kind of place where bad things happen quietly. Inside, it was colder than I expected. My boots echoed on concrete floors. Graffiti covered the walls. Old equations, numbers, words like subject and phase. I passed what looked like a lab. Overturned chairs, shattered beakers, papers scattered everywhere. And right there on the wall, painted in red spray paint, were 2 words that made my skin crawl. "She lives!" No joke. My flashlight flickered right then, and I actually said out loud, "Okay, creepy movie energy. Chill." I found a staircase that led down to a basement hallway. At the end, a door with a keypad. Guess what password I tried? Haven. It clicked open. The room inside was spotless. A table, a chair, a single monitor still glowing faintly. Someone had been here recently. I tapped the keyboard. The screen came to life. A video paused mid-frame. Claire, same blue light, same tired eyes. I hit play. Her voice filled the room. "If you're watching this, you've reached Haven. I built this place to stop them, but I couldn't finish it. They turned my research against us. Maya, they used your DNA to perfect the formula." My throat closed. "What formula?" I whispered, as if she could answer. "They wanted soldiers who don't break," she continued. "Empathy without emotion, healing without hesitation. But you were different. You weren't supposed to survive the trial. I hid you in plain sight, rewrote your file, erased your past. You became Maya Harlow, my niece, my miracle." I felt the floor tilt beneath me. Everything I thought I was. The paramedic, the screw-up sister, the forgotten daughter, all of it felt like smoke. Then she said something that froze me solid. Noah knows the truth. He found the files last year. If you're hearing this, he's coming for you. He needs your blood to finish what I started. My stomach flipped. Blood. That's why the files listed me as active. I backed away, heart pounding in my ears. That's when a voice echoed from behind me. Well, guess I don't have to keep pretending anymore. I spun around. Noah stood in the doorway, wearing a black jacket, calm as Sunday morning. Been a while, sis. Every nerve in my body went on high alert. How did you track your phone? Easy. You never were good at hiding. He smiled, but it wasn't the one I knew. It was colder, sharper. You found the video, didn't you? Claire always did over-explain things. I stepped back toward the console. You killed her. He laughed, low and bitter. She killed herself when she tried to play hero. The air between us crackled. Pure tension, thick enough to choke on. I clenched my fists. You used me. No, he said softly. I made you. You're the proof it works. I swear, my knees almost buckled. Every breath felt heavier. Then, out of nowhere, he pulled a syringe from his pocket, silver and glass glinting under the monitor's glow. Come with me quietly, Maya. It's easier that way. Yeah, I said, forcing a shaky laugh. You know that's not my style. I grabbed the nearest thing I could, a metal stool, and swung. It shattered against the wall. He ducked, lunged, caught my wrist. Pain shot up my arm as we fought, me trying to twist free, him trying to jab the needle in my neck. In the struggle, I slammed my elbow into his ribs and bolted for the door. His voice followed me down the hall. You can't run from what you are. I didn't stop running till I burst out into the open air, lungs on fire, Jeep keys digging into my palm. Behind me, the building's lights flickered on, one by one, like eyes waking up. I threw myself into the driver's seat, engine roaring to life. In the rearview mirror, Noah stood in the doorway, watching me with that same damn smirk. He lifted the syringe, empty now, and mouthed something I couldn't hear. Then he waved. I hit the gas and tore down the dirt road, tears blurring my vision. Whatever was in that syringe, whatever I was supposed to be, it was already inside me. You ever wake up and know something's wrong before you even open your eyes? That was me. Somewhere between a nightmare and a hangover from hell, lying on my apartment floor with my heart racing like I just sprinted a marathon. My head pounded, my skin felt hot, and every nerve in my body buzzed like live wires. Whatever was in that syringe Noah jabbed me with, it was doing something real bad, or maybe something different. I stumbled to the bathroom, flipped the light on, and froze. My pupils were blown wide, almost black, and for a second, swear to God, I saw faint veins of blue light pulsing under my skin. Okay, don't freak out, I muttered, gripping the sink. But I was already freaking out. I splashed cold water on my face, gasping as it hit. Every drop felt like electricity. My reflection blinked, but not in sync with me. Yeah, let that sink in. Then, out of nowhere, a memory hit me. Like a flash, bright, fast, and wrong. Me, lying on a lab table, wires, needles, voices echoing. Claire's hand on my face, whispering, You'll live, but you'll never be the same. I stumbled back, shaking. It wasn't just a memory. It felt real. The injection wasn't poison. It was a trigger. Noah hadn't tried to kill me. He'd just switched me on. I grabbed the flash drive, the only proof left, and threw my jacket on. If there were answers, they'd be on Horizon's servers, and I wasn't about to wait for them to come knocking again. By midnight, I was parked outside their headquarters downtown. The same glass building I'd watched days ago. Only now I wasn't here to watch. I was here to end it. Security was tight, but I moved faster than I ever had in my life. Every sound, every flicker of light, I could feel it before it happened. My body was running on something else now, adrenaline on steroids. Inside, the place was empty, almost too empty. I made it to the executive floor, kicked open Noah's office door, and there he was, waiting. Guess you figured it out, he said, leaning against the desk like we were catching up over coffee. You turned me into a freak, I snapped. He laughed, that same smug rich boy laugh that used to make me want to throw punches. You're not a freak, Maya. You're the future. You're my future. Don't flatter yourself, I said, stepping closer. Claire wanted to save people. You wanted to own them. He shrugged. Semantics. I threw the flash drive onto his desk. Everything you did, it's all on there. I'm sending it to every outlet in the country. His smile faltered for the first time. You wouldn't. Watch me. He lunged forward, faster than I expected, but I was faster, like instinct. I ducked, grabbed his wrist, twisted, and heard the syringe clatter to the floor. He swung at me, missed by a mile. I hit him once, just once, and he went down hard, coughing blood. Guess you didn't perfect the formula after all, I said, breathing hard. He tried to crawl toward the syringe, but I kicked it away. Don't worry, little brother, I said quietly. I'll make sure the world knows what you really built. I uploaded the files right there, the videos, the reports, the names. Within seconds, the monitors lit up with alerts. Data transfer in progress. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Noah slumped against the wall, glaring at me with pure hatred. You think you're the hero in this story? He rasped. I looked down at him, shaking my head. No, I'm the consequence. And then I walked out. By morning, the story had broken. Every news channel, every site. Horizon Biotech exposed for illegal human trials. Noah was arrested before sunrise. The world called him a monster. They called me a whistleblower. Neither label fit right. A week later, I drove back to the ranch. What was left of it? The sun was setting, painting the sky in pink and gold, and for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel angry, just tired. I buried the flash drive under the old oak tree behind the house, the one Claire used to sit under with her guitar. Rest now, I whispered. We did it. And as the wind picked up, I swear I heard her voice in it, soft, warm, proud. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. New message. You think it's over? Haven wasn't the only site. I just stared at it, heartbeat steady, a strange calm settling over me. Maybe that blue light still pulsed under my skin. Maybe I was something else now. Either way, I wasn't done. I slipped on my jacket, looked straight at the camera, and smiled. This story isn't over, y'all. So don't forget to hit like, share this video, and subscribe to Silentrevengelab. 'Cause the next chapter's gonna burn hotter than Texas asphalt.